Yeah, let's make a start. Thanks everyone for joining us. Power Platform Community High Five. Really appreciate you spending your time with us just now. We'll briefly just mention the Microsoft event code of conduct. I'm sure we don't really need this. This is just essentially be nice, be respectful of everyone. If anyone's got any issues, just come and see me or Sarah, and we'll help where we need to. So today we've got some fantastic sessions and some wonderful speakers. So we're going to start off with Ulrikke Akerbaek. Really looking forward to that one as well, learning about Power Pages news and updates. After Ulrikke, we've got Sarah Guest, a wonderful new speaker. We'd love if everyone could show Sarah a lot of love. Really brave speaking for the first time. It's going to be a shorter session on transferable skills from teaching to tech. And then after that, we've got the fabulous Nick Doelman with Fitness for IT Professionals, something really close to my heart as well. I think health and wellbeing is super, super important. So really looking forward to all of these sessions.
What an awesome mix of sessions, by the way.
It's amazing, yeah.
Isn't that great?
It is. It's almost like Power Platform Boost podcast takeover as well, which is great. Yeah. It's great to have both on the same call. I think they're trying to invade the call and take things over, actually, Sarah. I think we've got to be careful here. Awesome.
Oh, it's great to have two well-known speakers, but also Sarah. Really excited. We've been friends for quite a while now, so I'm really happy to see you stepping up and speaking. First of many.
Fantastic. Likewise as well for me. You know, me and Sarah met on the Women in Power Platform mentoring program as well. So yeah, we've known each other for a little bit too. So it's always great to see new speakers. So yeah, thanks so much. Right, I think we get ready to get started. So Ulrikke, over to you. Feel free to share the screen and take it away.
Thank you so much. And it's such a pleasure to be here. I watched back some of the and it's and internet's glitching. How's that for timing? Let's hope that it doesn't continue. And I'll try to share my screen with you. So let me. It's actually frozen on my end. This is horrible.
Just take your time, no rush.
Oh, you say that?
Sure it was me, actually. I've just turned my camera off in case it was.
You broke it. Sorry, you broke it. You broke the internet.
It was magical. Yeah.
We are very happy with it. To see your lovely face, it's very good. Thank you. Right. So, hello everyone, and it's very nice to be here. I appreciate you having me on. My name is Ulrikke Akerbaek, and I am Power Pages MVP. I'm not sure it's called that. It's business applications, but you know what I mean. I grew up with Power Pages, and yes, it's okay to say poor you, because sometimes I do too. You know, you don't choose these technologies; they choose you. And so I just happened to fall into Power Pages. And also feel free to have your cameras on if you want. I can see you. It's unless I'll tell you if my internet starts glitching again. I work as a practice lead at a consultant company called Atherton in Norway, and I blog and I also host a podcast together with my very good friend Nick Doelman, who's also on the call. So, like Sarah and Keith said, it's a Power Platform Boost podcast takeover this time. And yeah. And that's just a brief introduction to me. If there's any questions to anything that you see during my presentation today, just feel free to reach out if that's. And if anyone's confused by was on the podcast, I speak with an American accent. So I think Nick doesn't really know who's speaking, doesn't recognize me with the UK voice, but that's a topic for another time. Because this is what we're going to talk about today. What is Power Pages? For those of you who don't know. It's not the favorite of the bunch, I've realized. So maybe some of you haven't dabbled with Power Pages. And I hear myself. Let's see. Hello, Franco. That might be you. Thank you.
Just gone through mute.
So we'll talk about what Power Pages is just briefly. What's new? Why am I here to tell you news about Power Pages? And then, not to give too much away, we'll talk about forms, agents, vibe coding in Power Pages, and then a little bit of what the future look like. How's that? Carl is nodding. That's a good sign. So first of all, briefly, what is Power Pages? Well, Microsoft says that it's a secure and enterprise-grade, low-code software as a service platform for creating, hosting, and administering modern, external-facing business websites. That's a mouthful, isn't it? And is it accurate? Some of it. It's secure. It is really secure, even though you've seen some breaches in terms of leakage of data. That is always the human's fault. Sorry, not the product. And they're tightening their security model, as you know, all the time. And also now we have a new security agent that is going to tell us all the things that we do wrong when we configure our Power Pages sites going forward. So very much looking forward to that. But as by default, without us humans fiddling with it, it is very secure. Enterprise grade, definitely. It is enterprise worthy. And you know, you guys, I mean, how many hands in the air, how many people come from Dynamics space who's not born in Power Platform, because I realize some people are, right? So a few of you come from Dynamics. Don't you just hate it when customers ask you if it's enterprise grade? And you go, well, it's been around for 30 years. I think we can say it's been battle tested, you know? And then Microsoft tend to change names for things. And suddenly people think that Power Pages is 2 years old, 1 year old, and suddenly I have to defend that it's enterprise grade. It's 10 years old. And it's been tried and tested by the biggest municipalities and governments around the world. It is definitely enterprise grade, and it's proven that. ADX Portal, yeah, represent ADX Studio Power Portals, yes. But it is low code in the sense that you can start with Designer, you can drag and drop, you can configure your website and add your content from a user perspective. You don't need to know any code to create a website. But will that website be a modern website looking if you do that? Well, probably not. So it's a bit of a mismatch in my world. I look upon Power Pages, to me, it's the most pro-codey tool in the box, because if you want to make enterprise grade, secure, external facing business websites, you need to know your code. There's no way around it. And so that's why I say that for me, this statement from Microsoft is a bit, it's not completely true. At least not in my view. So, and for those of you who remember ADX Studio, this is the timeline, right? This is what we're looking at. It's an old product. It's a known and tried and tested product, starting at ADX Studio portals back in the day with Dynamics 365 was a third-party kind of tool, an ISV, then acquired by Microsoft. That's when I started working with it in 2016, and I work with Power Pages ever since, through all the different name changes and the various things. And this is a slide that used to be true. So bear with me, you'll see this again. Because when I talk to customers about Power Pages, this is what I say. Used to be, because I'm an old woman, I'm 90 years old, and used to be when I started working, we were out talking to customers about business applications, they wanted a little bit of configuration, and there's a lot of code, a lot of customizations. Why? Because we are very special here. We don't do it like all your other customers, because we are very special and we have these special processes that only we have. And so you have to customize that business application out of the box thing with a bazillion JavaScript files for Dynamics to spin the way we want it to spin. But when they moved to the cloud, they realized how very expensive that was. So times changed. And suddenly I was hearing from my customers, out with your customizations, costing me thousands and thousands, out with it. I used to work with SharePoint, and I used to do SharePoint branding on-prem SharePoint 2012, 2010. I went on maternity leave. When I came back, it had moved to the cloud. You could no longer edit master pages. And all I heard from the customers were, can you please remove your beep and customizations that you did for us a year ago? Because now my page and my intranet doesn't work in the cloud. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to spend a single moment undoing what I've done in the last 5 years. So I'm going to move to Dynamics. Thank you very much. And that's what I did. And luckily for me, that's when Microsoft bought Power Pages. So it was an easy transition back then. But this was what we heard. We want out of the box as far as we can go. Please do not customize because it's so expensive down the line. And let's put a pin in this. Because the platform's changing, right? This is what we know from Power Platform. It's a low code, no code development platform, which you can extend to your liking. Let's put it like that, to put it simple. And Power Pages on the far right is one of 5 pillars in this platform. And I don't have to tell you guys here what this platform is, but just to position it in the platform. So what is new? Well, in May, Microsoft had hosted Microsoft Build, the developer event that you all know. And before that, we got the Book of News. And in the Book of News is the news that I want to share with you. So you're not going to see we have a new button in the form thingy, or there's a new setting, a new toggle, we can toggle. No, these are news on a much more existential crisis kind of level. Bear with me. So at Build, this was the first time we kind of heard about this. Bring your own code. Makers will be able to bring their own code to Power Pages, leveraging third-party new age code generation tool. I think they mean AI. I think they wanted to write GitHub Copilot and then they had to edit it. The idea that you could bring your own code to Power Pages and not have to fiddle with the designer thing and use Liquid, which no one heard about, and then hack it away with your JavaScript. No, bring your own code. Write a React app. Bring that in if you want to. It completely changed the trajectory of Power Pages as a product. This is what I mean by existential news. And then integration of Visual Studio Code, which we have had always, but now being able to start in Visual Studio Code. So Nick and I read this and we went, okay, this is huge. And no one's going to know what it means. Because on the face of it, this is not news. So why is it in here? But the news is now you can start from Visual Studio and you can leverage GitHub Copilot and have your AI buddy developer beside you, like you can with any other professionally development tool. And then we had other news. Add agents in Power Pages. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm sick of all the copilots. Or it's not that I'm sick of it. I had a friend over the other day. She works in school. She doesn't dabble with AI. She still asks it for creating speeches and recipes, right? She talked about AI. And then and she said, when you post things on LinkedIn, do you have to say that you used AI when you created it? And I said, well, it's the equivalent of saying I use spell checker in Word, or I used Grammarly to do my spelling for me. It's so, I just take for granted that all of the things that I've seen you post the last week is all fiddled with AI. It's so ingrained in everything that it's become redundant almost. I expect it. And I expect when I visit a website that either it's accessible, the information on the website's accessible to the point where my agent that I use every day, my Copilot, my chat, whatever AI tool I choose to use, can leverage that information. That I expect. And if I visit a website, which I rarely do because, you know, all the agents feed me the information I need anyways, it's rare that I have to go to a website to search for information these days. But if I do, I expect it to have an agent, a chat experience. I'm not going to search for things. I'm just going to ask it to give me the information I want. So if you have a Power Pages site, your user is going to have the exact same expectations, and it's on us to enable that. So as much as adding agents to Power Pages was a news, it was also one of those non-news. It's yes, yes, this had to be there. This is bread and butter at this point. And then there was some other news: client API support for business rules, intelligent list search and configurations. And then we had another very exciting news, which is not really tied to all the other things that we talked about, but it is in August, when Microsoft released the 2025 release wave 2, which I'm sure you all are familiar with. Well, if you're not, we did do a very, if I might say so myself, comprehensive summary of it on the Boost podcast. You might go listen to that if you need a little bit of a recap. But one of the most interesting new things for Power Pages in that document was something I'm not sure anyone other than Nick and me realized. Probably some other Power Pages people realized the impact of this. But the fact that they are now unifying the Power Pages authorization by merging web roles and user roles in Database is pretty huge. Because what that enables us is a one-to-one link between contacts, which are what you authenticate as when you visit a Power Pages site, and the system user that is tied to. That enables interaction with database data in a whole different playing field. It also merges in a very interesting way the licensing model. And as Franco knows, lately the talk has been very much about using Power Pages instead of model-driven apps in Power Platform, because it's cheaper. If you have a subset of users that are only going to use a certain amount of kind of interacting with a limited amount of data, you might consider using a Power Pages site instead of a model-driven app just because of the licensing. It might change when they implement this change, but it's something to be aware of. And something that stood out. So no, I just clicked the link. No, don't. No. Right. So these news, they kind of push Power Pages into the future. And then we had AI news. So we had, as you all know, the form filling assistants. Hands up, who tend to use, let's do that first. Who uses the form filling thing that pops up everywhere? Who's used it, like properly used it? I'm going to see if I can see all the hands. There's no hands. Who's very quick to click it away, just buzz away with you? I do that. All right, some people. All right, so how many people turned it off, has turned it off? Franco's turned it off. Oh, that's a lot. So many more people have turned it off. Oh, that's so funny. Because Microsoft thinks that we want Microsoft to do that for us, but it's not always the case. I find it actually really handy. For Power Pages, it's very nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I do. So this is my expense app. And what I can do is I can actually then upload a picture. And I tried, let's see if I can find an expense, maybe lunch. Can it read that receipt, I wonder? And this is in German. I'm not sure it can work. I played with this from Power Pages perspective. And for instance, like, you know, the expense thing, right? You have a receipt, it has all the data. You don't want to punch that in yourself. It's that, for that use case, I find it very handy. It's not going to work this time because I chose a German, for some reason, receipt. But you understand the idea behind it, that it can actually just read whatever it is and then put it into the list here. And then I can actually then merge or pick the ones that I want and create a report from it. That, for that, I think is very handy. But that's not really what we're talking about here, because there's something else that sounds very similar, but is completely different. And that is a form agent. And this is something I saw a private preview of in May, June, I think. And I've been pestering Microsoft for access ever since I've been playing with this on the private preview program. And this is adding a form to your Power Pages site. That form is then over data, right? So you have a table, event registration, and then you enable an agent on that form, and the agent suddenly has that context. It understands the table, the form, and whatever relationships and stuff is on that. So that it can help you interact with the data. Now, the demo that Microsoft showed on the partner program call, they used it for ordering cars. I thought that was a very interesting use case. I'm not sure I would trust our Power Pages agent to order a car for me, but it's a very interesting use case anyways. I'm not the first one to to talk about this. So Nick made a very good blog post and a very good video. And now I'm going to try to show you what it actually looks like. So what I did was, first of all, you have to talk a little bit about licensing. So just, Keith, before I move on, I have 45 minutes, meaning I have to be done in 30 minutes. Is that correct?
Yeah, roughly, but there's a bit of flex. A few minutes either side's fine.
All right, perfect. So first of all, to play with this, you have to have your Copilot Studio tenant license, and you have to have the individual user license. And I learned this the hard way, so that's what I'm telling you now. So you don't have to make the same mistake I did and bash your head against the wall, because it really hurts. And also, and this is thanks to Nick, because I was stuck and he helped me, because you need an environment which is US to get, I think this is still just for US environments. Early access, always smart when you dabble with preview features. And also it needs to be a sandbox environment. I had a dev environment and it did not work for me. So those are also very good things to know about. So what I did was I used the Copilot experience to create an event registration site. And this is it. I then added a page, which was called event registration. And then I added a frumpy old form on the page. Now, when you add a new form, you get the experience that you can, you can actually create it using the Copilot experience. So this is what I did. And I prompted my way to an registration form. So this is a form, and this is how we would configure forms on Power Pages. Simply say what table, the form that I have in Dataverse, the equivalent name for it on the site. If it wanted to create a record or update, simply just view record. What to do on succeeded, on submit. You can add capture, you could add attachments, and you can then enable what we just saw, the form filling thing. You can flip that on and off. Okay, all good and well. And then when you did that, you also have to make sure to add the permissions. So for this event registration, obviously there has to be accessible to anonymous users. And yes, it's going to scream at you until you delete the site that you have enabled something for anonymous users. I work with a Power Pages site that's been public and had this for 2 years. It's pretty intense, but there is no way to remove that message. So make sure you have your permissions in place, global access type, read, create, delete, append to, and the roles you want this to be in. This is not the best practice for anything. So this is just for the demo. Do this properly when you do it for yourself, because this is way too much. And then we see this, the agent pop up, and this is what is new. And also, I forgot to show you, you can, let me see. In PPAC, Power Pages Admin Center, I'm going to scroll in a bit for you. You go to the Copilot workspace, and then you choose Power Pages on the left-hand menu, and then Review Settings over here. It will allow you to set some settings. So you can choose which environments or which sites you want to enable different AI features for. So this is very handy. So if you are not the admin this and you hit kind of a barrier, this is usually where you can enable things to light up for you. And I think this is the one that we need for this particular feature or functionality. So this is where you go in and you can choose your environment groups or your environment and enable the feature. It's too slow and I don't have the patience for it, so you can look at that yourselves. Okay, let's look at the agent. So what I do is I click agent here and it shows me, and right now I have set it up already. It gives me the opportunity to select a name and then an instruction to tell what it's supposed to do. And then you have a security tab here that allows you to choose, again, which security roles you want this to be enabled for, and also make sure to enable the following tables and columns for the web API. Power Pages Web API will allow the Copilot Studio agent to interact with your data. So this is very important that you enable this, and it creates the site settings for you, which is also very handy. And then last but not least, review and confirm. And this is where you can open up your agent in Copilot Studio to have a look at what it's done. So when I open this up, you notice that there are two agents here. And this is the reason. Let me show you. Because in order for this form filling thing to pop up, we need to add a parent agent to the site. So we need to enable the parent agent. So you can't have a form filling agent without having your site agent on your site. So you have to go in here on the setup, add agent, and then you have to configure your parent agent here, enable it on the site, and you can choose, for instance, what kind of data you want it to have access to, and all that jazz, which is right. So here I chose the knowledge articles and then the event registration, so it now knows those things. Yes. And then you're ready to add your agent. So this event hub bot, so this will be the name of your Power Pages site bot, is the parent one. And this is the agent form, the form agent specific one. So if I open this up, what I did, and I had to go a bit back and forth. So I'm an MVP, but I'm still allowed to tell the truth about my experience when I use Microsoft products. And this I struggled with. So I went back and forth and I clicked a lot of toggles and suddenly it worked. And I wish I knew exactly what I clicked for it to work. And yeah, James is laughing because he's done this before. We all know what it's like. And it's like, and then it worked. So it's like, oh, hands up, keyboard. It works. My demo is in 1 hour. It works. Don't touch it. And guess what I did? I touched it and broke it and I had to fix it. But I did, and I'm so happy. Right. So this is the agent. I fiddled with a little bit of these just for fun. I updated it to GDP5. I added a bit more instructions because when I added the agent the first time, it thought it was supposed to create, update, delete, do lots of things. I didn't want it to do that. So I used ChatGPT to create a much more clean prompt and instruction. And I added that, and that helped a lot. And also using the display names and the logic names for your tables and exactly what it wanted to do. And as we know now, a year ago, we made huge AI bots and models, but now we know to train for the narrow path, give it one task and make sure that it knows exactly what to do. And if you need something else, create another one. Hence orchestration, which we're not going to go into, but that's the idea. And then I added a tool. And a tool is, it used to be called actions, now it's tools. And it shouldn't really be necessary. I think when you have the web API, it should be able to create things for me. But I added this and it helped a lot. So I just added a connection to Dataverse. And when I did that, it helped a lot. I told it what environment to use, what table to use, etc. And when I did that, it actually, yeah, like I said, it helped a lot. I publish it, and then I render it on my site. And I'm not going to throw Nick under the bus, but I had the same experience Nick had when I played with this the first time. We talked about this the other day, because you enable an agent on a form, you kind of expect something to happen on the form. So wouldn't it be neat if I went in here and then suddenly there's an interaction item, something popped up to say, oh, there's a fancy new way of doing this, you front build woman. But it doesn't. There's nothing. Did anything happen? Did it work? What happened? Where is it? And I made a little clue for myself, because that's actually what you have to do. See this little guy right here? The one you think is one of those unintelligent Power Virtual agents from eons ago. Well, it looks like it's the same one, but it's not. Actually, this is the new Event Hub agent. This is the parent agent. And wouldn't you know that, these little ones up here, the waffle thingies that we learned in Microsoft 365 10 years ago, it's making its appearance here as well. So of course, very intuitive, of course, you have to click here. And what do you know? You have a selection of agents to choose from. And then you can choose registration helper. And that's connecting to your agent. And now it's unable to connect, of course, because I fiddled with it. So, it's my fault. So let's see if I can publish it again to see if it works. Right. And then I'm also going to see if this helps. I'm a bit too quick just for this try. How can I help you? What can you do? I love asking that, because you never know. Maybe you can do a dance. Maybe. And AI interactions is, the first time you dabbled with Google Home, it's like, well, how do I know what it can do? So it's always, tell me what you can do. Tell me what you can do. So it can help me with event registrations. Would you like to start? Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's start with the event registrations. Right, so my full name, you're not going to get my full name, but Ulrikke's fine. Email address, because I do. Right, okay. What the company, that was Otera. Yeah, gluten, not my friend. Topics, pages, Power Pages, or assist. And perfect. And then it has my registration. And then you'll say thank you. It costs these monglers millions and millions every year, but it's money well spent. They actually did research on the difference in us and the quality of our day if we say thank you to AI versus not. If you add like a bitch to all your AI kind of apps and services and stuff for a full day, and then the next day you treat it nicely, you feel different. So that's why people say thank you to AI, even though they know that it doesn't help, it doesn't do anything, it just costs money. But it helps you, because you feel better when you treat it right. And I love that. And you never know. I want to be one of the ones that said thank you. This is what this agent can do. So now it's filled in the form. I didn't have to fill it in. And of course, the tail of this is create a trigger that sends an email, redirects the user to a page where they see a nice little receipt for their registration, allow them to, I don't know, log in to manage or whatever it is that you wanted to do. But this is kind of the essence of what it can do. And that's the end of my demo. And like I said, Nick also did a very good job. And actually, Nick, because we talk about this on the podcast all the time, because we see people We talk to people and they want to blog, but they're like, oh, everything's been blogged about, you know, what do I have to do with anything? And then we always say, if you have a unique take on this, your voice, what you pay attention to, how detailed you do things, that makes a difference. So even though Nick actually made a blog post and a video about it, I made a blog post too, because I speak with a different voice. I reach different people, and so why not, right? And that goes for all of you as well. But I'm not done. We need to talk about something else as well. So, and I didn't plan to go into this in a lot of detail, but we've now seen Power Pages that click and drag and drop and do that. There's a different approach, and we talked about it briefly. SPA, single page application, is a very known concept in pro code circles, but very little known in Power Pages until now. This is what makes me sleep well at night, because when all the other people are worried that someone's going to take their job, this for me means I have work to do for eons still, because Power Pages as a product still has a place in Power Platform, because all of these bots, they need to live somewhere. And the pro code kind of approach to application development has never been easier than with vibe coding. And so for this, for me, is what kind of saves the day. It is at a high level, because I'm not a pro developer, right? So I'm just trying to explain it to myself in words that I understand. You start in Visual Studio Code with your GitHub Copilot, AI-assisted development, whatever model you choose, and then you create a site. You create a single-page application. You write your React code, you vibe code as AI-assisted coding, call it what you want, until you have a working application that you are happy with, a single-page application or React app. Then you deploy it to Power Pages, and then you hook it up to the web API, and then you have a modern way of working, developing that little application, and then it's hosted within the Power Pages space. So you get all the benefits from the security model. It's tightly connected to Dataverse still. You get the governance, the ALM, the solution awareness. You get all of the real value of Power Platform and Power Pages without having to fiddle with the hopeless design studio thing anymore. Isn't that fantastic? And Franco's clapping. I've seen Franco hack Power Pages sites that you would not believe was possible. So I know Franco is happy with this, but you just have to teach me React, Franco. That's what's missing. So that's what I'm going to do when I have time, sometime. And this is not all. This is a general direction that the platform's going in. You have code apps. Scott Jerome, the advocacy team, have brilliant videos on this, both this and also generative pages. Code apps, it's essentially the same thing. You start in Visual Studio Code, you create your app, and you deploy it to Power Platform. And it's a new app type, which enables you to work with it as you would any other pro code AI-assisted development. And as I mentioned, generated pages is a way where you start in Power Platform. You start with a model-driven app, you add a new page to your app, and then you can prompt your way to whatever it is that you want that app to do. I think in Scott's example, he created a game inside of there, right? You can do whatever it is that you want because it's React. It's a PCF component on steroids type of thing. It's using the kind of the same mechanisms underneath. So let's look a little bit beyond the vibe. The future, according to me, let's forget about low code. It's dead, it's gone. Don't worry about it. It doesn't mean that we were wrong, but it was replaced with something better, because it's always been about less code, and there's nothing less codey than your natural language. It's all about the vibe. It's all about the prompting. It's all about you understanding enough to tell the AI agent what it is that you want, and to get good at the prompts, and to interact with that agent and that model and that large language model. So back to this, it used to be that you wanted 20% configuration, 80% code. No, sorry, the other way around. And now this is what we're looking at. You prompt, you work with it. It's 5% vibing. And then AI generated code. Because it always used to be code. The low code, the drag and drop, or the fiddle thingy, the configuration. Guess what? That also compiled to code. So what you've done essentially is you've removed a layer where you're now interacting directly with the thing that writes the code, and you can see it and you can interact with it if you want to. And then that runs and you don't have to worry about it. Or maybe you should worry a little bit about it and not abandon it. We've talked a lot about the concept of throwaway apps, where if it takes you a day to create a new business applications app, why would you bother maintaining it? When you need something changed, why don't you just create a new one? Or the idea of a business application for all the HR, that's really weird, because the one person that works at HR, she has a lot of agents around her to do her work for her. And if she needs to interact with data herself, she would just create the app she needs on the fly until she doesn't need it anymore, and then she'll abandon it because the next time she'll use it, or she'll need it, she'll just create a new one because technology moves so fast that why would you want to use that old frumpy thing that she created 6 months ago? Just ideas, according to me. So when Satya Nadella was talking about the Copilot stack, the AI orchestration and how it is squished between the models and the AI infrastructure and the Copilots and the plugin extensibility, talk about Copilot as the UI for AI. And then I ask, in Power Platform, the host for that UI, where does that chatbot live, do you think? You can create a Azure static web app, or you can put it on Power Pages. And that is why I think, that's why I sleep well at night. And I think that I'll still have lots to do going forwards. And that was it. So thank you so much for listening to my endless rant, for allowing me to come here and talk to you about this. Is there any questions to anything that we went through, if we have time?
Just a quick comment from me. That was brilliant. Thank you, Ulrikke. I loved it. A really good overview. Particularly like to see the newer features as well. That's maybe slipped off my radar, being more on the Power Apps and the ProDev side. So it's so cool to see what you can do now. Really, really, really useful. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Keith.
First up, we got Rory with a hands up. Go for it, Rory. You're still on mute there, buddy.
That was just me chatting to myself there. Yeah, so I do love the idea of vibe coding, because we all know how long some of these apps and so on take to create. I guess the one thought I have is that the thing that doesn't get destroyed when you build another app is the data model. So there is scope for just creating a kind of like this kind of trail of kind of data sewage behind you if you're not careful, which is possibly another thing that means you can sleep well at night, because you know that actually so that you can create something that is kind of got some level of, I don't know, data cleanliness or governance cleanliness, then that, you know, clearly, you know, I've started using Plan Designer. It is astonishing, like, you know, what the pace at which it does things, but like it just builds things, and then we now got a thing.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. And also the speed at which Plan and Power Apps have been Plan Designers developed over the last 6 months. We tried it in January and it was completely useless. We couldn't do what you couldn't create tables even. And now it's phenomenal. It's taken, I'm at loss for words really, because it's so quick. and it understands now so much more than it used to do. And it can also now connect to existing tables. So you don't have to have the employee and you have to replace it with your contact or whatever it is that you want to use in the standard data model. And also the new features where you can actually see your processes, the user stories. You can just push those into your planner or whatever it is that you're using, your PVA. But I used it a lot. We use it for a few solutions and proof of concepts, to the point where we're a bit, okay, so what do we do now then? Because we had a week and it's been a day. We're almost done.
Well, there is that. There's probably a presentation just for that, isn't there? Maybe we have to all become weightlifters.
Maybe.
We'll learn more about that later. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Good stuff. Thank you. Any other questions? Just feel free to use the raise the hand in Teams.
I just wanted to echo you there, Keith. That was really interesting. And for non-techie me, I can always follow what you're talking about. I think you could even teach me something about Power Pages. So yeah, thank you for that.
Oh, thank you so much, Sarah. We'll do that anytime. I'd be happy to. Right, and that, as I said, just feel free to send me a message anywhere you like. There's no other Ulrikke Akerbaek that does Power Pages. I'm easy to find. And also, I'm guessing we can share this presentation. I'll have all the links, and I'll add links to the videos and the stuff that I didn't have time to add, for you to share with these lovely people, if you have the option to do that.
That would be great. Yeah, if you want to export as a PDF, we can always provide a link and share it with everyone. That's awesome. Thank you, Ulrikke. Appreciate
Fantastic.
that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was absolutely fantastic. Wow. So great first session. Thank you so much. We're going to take a little break from the Boost podcast takeover for a moment because we've got a new speaker here with us tonight. Sarah Guest, wonderful person. We met when we was on the Women in Power platform mentoring program. So it's really cool to see Sarah stepping up, and a massive thank you to Sarah as well for stepping up at very late notice as well, because we had a cancellation tonight with another speaker. So yeah, big thank you. If everyone can show a lot of love to Sarah, I'll hand over to you now, Sarah. Go for it.
Thanks, Keith. I'd just like to say thank you to Sarah and Keith for accepting my session and being really supportive and encouraging as well. I'm going to be talking about my journey into the Power Platform, how I came from a teaching background, and I'm going to be talking about skills that I was able to use from teaching and transfer over as well. So this was actually a blog post which I've written. So hopefully later this week, I'm going to be launching my first few blog posts on my new blog site. So I spoke with Keith and decided just to go for it and try speaking, and not have too long to get too nervous or too worried about it, and just change some of the bits from my blog posts into slides. So hopefully that will work out okay. So my name's Sarah. I work for Ubiquity. I'm a senior consultant. If you want to connect, I'd love to speak with people, and probably connecting through LinkedIn is the best way to get hold of me. A little bit about my background. I come from I'm a bit of a maths geek. I've got a degree in maths, and 20 years ago this year, I decided to become a primary school teacher, and did my PGCE, specialising in maths, nothing to do with ICT. But in my first role, I worked with a lovely teacher called Rebecca, and we were talking about this. I'm still friends with lots of my teachers in WhatsApp groups, and I think one of my best friend teachers has joined the call tonight as well, Sharon, which is lovely. But we were talking about how in our first year of teaching, we were both given the option of one of us to lead ICT and one of us to lead PE. And Rebecca didn't want to pick ICT. She said she would prefer PE. So I took the lead for ICT. And from there, really, I became quite passionate around using ICT and technology to help children learn, especially help children with special needs. And I then went on to move to Wales and become an advisory teacher, where I travelled around lots of different schools, giving advice to different teachers around using lots of different technology. I went on to do my master's in specific learning difficulties like ADHD, dyslexia, dyscalculia, and became an independent dyslexia assessor as well. Also went into a Senko role. You'll notice on a lot of my slides, we've got lots of bees, and I've loved bees. I'm actually allergic to bee stings, so they kind of symbolise to me that you've got to face your fears and not let things worry you too much. I also love that the queen bee is in charge of the hive, and I'm an advocate for women in tech and power platform and female leadership as well. So yeah, you'll see bees everywhere, and on my blog site there's lots of bees as well. So my teaching career, everything that I'd kind of done in my professional development was all around teaching, all around sort of special needs, all around sort of technology, but all linked to teaching. For about 20 years, very similar to when I started teaching, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, but really lucky in the first year that I was diagnosed to go on to a research trial and to go on to some new medication, which was absolutely amazing, and helped me sort of lead a normal life on this medication. It did suppress my immune system, so I had to be really careful about picking up infections and things. So when COVID came and everybody went into lockdown, I was shielding for months through COVID, and did a lot of teaching at home when all the kids were doing their home learning. We had lots of fun trying to do PE with 30 children via Zoom and Teams. But school started to open back up. Lots of the teachers were going back into school. My school was really supportive and let me work from home a little bit longer. But there came a time where my specialist advised me not to go back into school. It's really impossible to teach 6-year-olds and have 36-year-olds in the classroom and not get close to them, to kind of keep a metre distance. So basically, I needed to change careers, and it felt like I was kind of just starting from scratch. I couldn't really see any of my skills that I could kind of transfer naturally into something. I had a bit of a worry that I'd moved house and I'd got a mortgage to pay. And I started to look at some different roles that I could do and where I could socially distance. But at the same time, I loved teaching and I loved being in that sort of very sociable role, working in a big team, seeing lots of people every day. But through lockdown, I did a lot of reading as well, listened to a lot of audiobooks. And there was one particular book by Mel Robbins, and she talked about how when our bodies react to fear and excitement, it's a very similar reaction, and it's only our brain that kind of labels it one way or the other. So from speaking to different people and having that in the back of my mind, I decided to see it as a real positive, a way to learn something new, a way to sort of enjoy meeting new people, and enjoy a sort of new learning challenge. So I spoke to a good friend of mine, Matt Weston, who's an MVP and has got his own Microsoft business. And from the conversations with Matt, he encouraged me really to focus on skills and not knowledge. And he talked about skills that he thought that I'd got, that I could transfer from teaching, and that would work really well with consultancy. And that the knowledge of Power Platform, as long as you've got the right attitude and you've got the right skills, you could learn that knowledge, which was absolutely fantastic. and I was really lucky that he offered me a job on a bit of a trial, which was great, a great way for me to get into working in Microsoft technologies. I went on to then work at CPS, where I met a lovely man who is actually on the call, Rory Neary. And from talking to Rory, who was also a career switcher and used to be an accountant, we had lots and lots of conversations around how we'd both learned different areas of the Power Platform, but also how we'd kind of like had similar sort of skills in our other roles as well. How we'd both been good at sort of planning and communication and organisation, and how we could adapt to different situations. I knew we'd have to mention date dimensions. We did have a lot of conversations about date dimensions as well. So yeah, and I think there's lots of similarities as well. The schools that I've worked at, I've always felt like a really strong community. You feel part of that school. And I think working in a dev team as well, and more recently I'm getting more involved with the sort of larger Power Platform community as well. So you get that sort of same sense of belonging and feeling part of a team. So I decided to write this blog post and to do this talk tonight. It might help somebody else if they're deciding to switch careers. Also, I think at the moment we've got some people that are switching between technologies, maybe people that are from a tech background and they're moving into the Power Platform, or maybe they are moving between areas in the Power Platform, maybe learning Copilot Studio, maybe moving from Power Automate into Power Pages. And over the last few months, I've been involved in the Women in Power mentoring scheme. And we've had lots of conversations with the people that I've been mentoring around skills and around sort of moving into different areas and learning different technology as well. So my next few slides are just about looking at some of those skills that I had as a teacher and how those have kind of come across and using these as in consultancy in the Power Platform space. So teachers spend a great deal of time. We used to moan sometimes about lesson planning, but whenever we're planning lessons, we would be breaking down those larger goals into smaller steps, setting different activities for the children, breaking them down into tasks. We'd be constantly assessing the progress, whether the children had understood what we were trying to teach them, whether they needed to revise something, go over it, reteach it. And it's very similar now when we're developing applications and we're finding those requirements from the customers, looking at those sort of high-level features, breaking them down into user stories, looking at what we're going to cover in sprints and sort of evaluating the progress as well. And this is something actually that somebody else pointed out to me, which I hadn't really thought of, but when I was talking about this with a colleague, they were talking about how when you teach things, teaching different spelling patterns to 6-year-olds can be really, really difficult. You've got to think of different ways to kind of explore, are they understanding it? How else can you explain it? Can you explain it in a different way if one child is understanding it or not understanding it? And you have to persevere a lot. And it can be the same in Power Platform. You can have a flow that's failing. You can have people not being able to access the app and you've got to look into all the security roles. You might be fixing some code that somebody else has written. So I think teachers naturally are debuggers and they're looking for what's working, what's not working, and how you're going to fix it. So I know Sharon will remember lots of our conversations around school trips. We once took 90 year 1 children, which are kind of 6 and 7, to the safari park for the day. and we wanted to make sure that all of the special needs children in that year group as well were included. So we had a huge big risk assessment, lots and lots of plan A's, plan B's, what if this happens, thinking about all different scenarios. And I think that kind of really relates as well in the Power Platform when we're doing development and we're doing solution deployments, and you've always got a rollback plan, you're always taking like a backup of things, and sort of predicting what could go wrong, but crossing your fingers and hoping that it all works and it goes right. And probably from most careers now, there's a real drive for data. And I think from whichever type of career you're coming from, you probably will have some experience of tracking progress or looking at money saving decisions. But that's something definitely from my maths background, that in teaching we were always looking for behaviour patterns. We were always sort of analysing attainment, tracking progress, and definitely in consultancy we do a lot of that as well. Juggling lots of different things. As a consultant, you might be on a few different projects, you might be working with lots and lots of internal users within your team, within your company, you might be helping with support, definitely communicating with different customer groups, and the same goes in school as well, linking with parents, linking with pupils, your leadership team, thinking about inspectors coming in, as well. So lots of similarities there as well. So I've asked Keith to drop a link into this video, and it's something that's kind of stuck with me for a long time. I used this video in some training when I first was helping some teachers, some newly qualified teachers, and the video, it took me a while actually to find the original version of it, because if you go onto YouTube and you Google this video, there's lots of updated versions, but this video was first posted in 2010. And it talks about lots of different facts, but it talks about the rate that technology is developing. And I've just put a few screenshots on there because even back in 2010, it was talking about the number of different jobs that children would have by the age of 38. And I always compare this to my dad, who was an electrician, and he left school and worked for the same company until he retired. And sort of had that same sort of skill set, and just the company did change a little bit and the role changed a little bit, but he sort of stayed in that same job. And life is very different now. At the time, even in 2010, we were talking about preparing children for jobs that didn't exist. And I know when I left school, I couldn't have said that I wanted to be a Power Platform consultant because the Power Platform didn't exist then. So I think there's always that, you know, in the first presentation, we're talking about how much the Power Platform is changing, how much we've got to change what we're learning, what we're focusing on, and what are our jobs going to look like in the future. But yeah, if you do get time to watch this video, it is quite interesting. It talks about MySpace as well, so it shows how old it is. So my last couple of slides, if you are thinking of changing careers, or maybe just changing direction, or you're thinking about what are our jobs going to look like in a couple of years' time, try and focus on your skills. What are your superpowers, and what will you take with you into your next role? It's not starting over again. And the move from teaching into tech was much easier for me than I thought it was going to be. And there's lots and lots of skills that you're just doing with different people, or in a slightly different role, but those skills are definitely transferable. So that's the end of my short session. I hope lots of people can relate to it. Thank you, Sarah and Keith, for supporting me. I also want to say a thank you to Sharon, who I think is on the call, because she's been giving me lots of encouragement about trying speaking. And also Stuart Baxter, I wanted to mention as well. He's doing a lot of work with Mentoring Hub around supporting new speakers. He's also taking part in an event in September as well. And I think Keith's dropped the link in. They are driving to Ukraine and delivering evacuation vehicles, and they're currently fundraising at the moment. So if anybody is interested and wants to have a look at what they're getting up to, I wanted to just use a little bit of my time to give him a bit of a shout out and share that link, because he's doing absolutely amazing at the moment. If anyone's got any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I'm happy to chat to people via LinkedIn around rheumatoid arthritis if anybody is interested. I'm currently in remission and have been for a couple of years, which is really, really positive. Also really love talking about women in tech, anything to do with mentoring or career switching as well. I know Sarah's dropped some event links into the chat as well, but I'm going to be in Manchester next week if anybody else is there. And then we're off to Poland at the end of the week, also attending the South Coast Summit as well. So it would be great to network with people if you are going to these events. I'm also really, really interested to get some presentation feedback. It is something that hopefully once I've got this one out of the way, I'm going to try and do again in the future. So if anyone has got any feedback, then that would be really, really great. So thank you, everybody. Has anyone got any questions?
I've got so many things to say.
We're both jumping at the bit.
I know, I don't know which thing to answer first. I think the first thing I wanted to say was this is exactly why we want to invite new speakers on here, because that was quite a unique presentation, really well delivered. But it's not the normal things that we see popping up, and I like that. I think we need to keep new stuff coming. So well done, that was really brilliant. Can't wait to see you in person next week. I know you'll have your friends with you at that session to support, but yeah, that's exciting. And thanks for sharing the information on Stuart and Kerry as well. Good friends of all of ours.
Absolutely. Yeah, and all the links in the chat, just track back. Again, driving Ukraine, we can see up on the slide there. But just to echo Sarah, that was absolutely amazing. Thanks, Sarah, that was fantastic. Can't believe that was your first presentation, because it was so good. And yeah, likewise, looking forward to meeting you in person as well after we've done the mentoring program. So we see each other in Manchester and Poland as well to do some sessions with Sharon and team. So absolutely brilliant. Does anybody have any questions? If so, just use the raise the hand. Rory, there we go, straight in there.
I'm dreading Rory's question now, because I think he's going to ask me something really complicated.
No, yeah. I'm so pleased to be here. For me and Sarah have talked for for a long time about so many different things. I've always thought she would be brilliant to hear presenting, and it's really wonderful that this is like the first time I've heard her speak. And I know that she'll go on and do different things, but I also think specifically in terms of this idea of transferable skills. So Sarah's thought deeply about how her transferable skills, and I think she's been able to think more deeply because she's been through this mentoring program, which means on the one hand you're asking other people to think about this, and it kind of reflects on yourself as well. So I'm sure that is something that, but Sarah's journey is not the same as everybody else's or my journey and so on. So so people need to do their own version of kind of soul searching in order to think about what their skill set actually is, so that they can take it forward.
Absolutely.
I totally agree. And if I put my recruitment head on as well, just to kind of back that up, the market is always changing and trends are always changing, and the feedback you're getting from your clients will evolve. So keep looking at that and keep considering it when it comes to your career journey as well, as you have, Sarah.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Actually, Sarah, a quick question for you as well. Now that you've done this first presentation, are you looking forward even more to Manchester and Poland when you're going to be presenting there as well?
I am looking forward to it. I think Manchester and Poland, I wasn't as worried about, because there's a team of us, and I think it's more scary to present on your own. But I think this was a little bit of a safe space for me, because I've not had to do a technical demonstration. So I think that will be the sort of next step for me, is to actually demonstrate something with a screen share, and something technical will be the kind of next step. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to Manchester and Poland, and that's going to be amazing, talking about mentoring and our own experiences there with Sharon and the team. But yeah, I think I was more nervous about this than Manchester and Poland.
Oh, that's awesome. And now you've done the scary, exciting thing. As you say, you'll be in a team for the next ones. You're a supportive team, and looking forward to seeing how that goes as well. So yeah, onwards and upwards. Thank you, Sarah. Any other questions for Sarah from anyone? There's a lot of love in the chat, by the way. So, well, not many questions
through now.
Lots of positive feedback. Now, thank you so much. Again, if anyone does have any questions after this, just feel free to reach out to Sarah. Her LinkedIn link was in the chat as well, or you could just search for a name as well. So yeah, please do that. So thank you again, Sarah. That was absolutely amazing. With that, we're ready for our final speaker of the event. So we've got Nick Doelman. Nick, are you good to go?
Yep, sorry.
Oh, no,
trying to find the mute button. It's like, where is it?
All
there
good,
it is.
buddy. All good.
No, I'm sharing you, so you're seeing my your
No,
face.
no one
There
wants
we
to
go.
see that. Yeah, but thanks
No
so
one,
much.
no.
Thanks, Nick. Over to you, buddy. Thanks very much.
All right. So, whoops. No, yeah. Okay, let's do a little switcheroo here. Of course, Teams. Yeah, give me 2 seconds here. I'm just going to do a quick stop sharing. And I'm going to do the little, PowerPoint, right? It works perfectly until it doesn't.
It's one of those power tools, just like the power apps and everything else, right? It's great when it works, but
yeah. So those little display settings, thingamabob, slideshow, presenter view. No, let's not use presenter view. I don't need that. And it does it anyway. Hold on. Let me move you guys are there. I really do know what I'm doing most days.
I've seen you present, Nick. You're one of the best. So,
oh, well, thanks.
No, you're absolutely brilliant. So, looking forward to this.
Okay. Just have to learn how to use PowerPoint, and then I'll be all set. Copilot can help me out. There we go. You should see something, the title screen, Fitness for IT Professionals.
Great stuff. Not come up just yet.
Oh, okay. Well, let's blame Teams. Oh, maybe I should, let me try it.
Always blame Teams.
Yeah.
How about now?
Looking great.
Cool.
Awesome.
I'll move you folks over, you beautiful people over here. Off to the side. Cool. So anyways, yeah, I'll just go through all of this. Thanks everybody for joining me today. And for me, this is a little bit outside of my what I normally talk about sort of in these channels. I'm going to be talking about fitness for IT professionals, and hopefully get some tips and tricks to get some of you folks up and moving and things like that, because we do work in a profession that, interesting enough, I think is pretty dangerous. No, we're not firemen or, emergency responders or firefighters or, that kind of thing. But we do have a lot of hazards and dangers in our profession that I think we need to be aware of, and that's kind of probably affecting our health. So before I dive in, I'm going to just quickly go through here just a little bit about myself. My name's Nick Doelman. You can find me on www.nickdoelman.com. I also put my Instagram link here. Normally I don't do that because, well, actually, no, I have two Instagram accounts. One's ReadyXRM, which I every so often throw Power Platform stuff on there. The other one, my other Instagram, you'll probably see a lot of my workout videos and things like that. Not that I'm instructing them. Basically, it's more accountability to my coach more than anything. But for some reason, people find them entertaining. So you could check that out. And the deck itself, I'll show you later where to find it. I've actually got it uploaded to GitHub already, but I will show you where you can get that later. Of course, can work with Keith to get you guys a copy of the PDF as well. So a little bit about me. I live basically two worlds. I have a bit of a dual personality here. A lot of people know me, or you folks might know me already in the MVP community, where I kind of talk a lot about Power Platform, Power Pages, of course. I have the podcast with Ulrikke, Power Platform Boost, where every 2 weeks we do news and updates around the Power Platform, or even around technology in general. I've been an MVP from 2017 to 2021, and then again from 2024 to present. Probably wondering what the gap is. Did I get kicked out? No, I actually went to work for Microsoft for a couple years, where I learned how the sausage was made. And once I figured that out, then I went back out to the real world to apply what I learned, and to continue to be an independent, which is really much more my suits me a lot better. In 2019, I was a Dynamics 365 UG Serum UG All-Star. And because I work for myself, I can call myself whatever I want. And so these days, I've been calling myself a Power Platform Specialist. I'm a trainer, speaker, and I've been using the tag AI Explorer because, like you, like everybody else, we're trying to figure out this new world around AI and agents and everything. I've been learning a lot, and it's just been kind of an amazing time to be alive, just to learn all this whole new paradigm of technology and live through that. And I'm learning stuff every day. Like this morning, I was like up to my eyeballs in GitHub Copilot, learning a bunch of new stuff. So hopefully some new content will come out of that. Now, my other life, which I'm going to talk a little bit about here, I'm also a competitive powerlifter. I lift for Team Canada. I am in my category as the men's Master 2. That's kind of the old guy division. Up until 120 kilo, that's my weight class. I've had a bit of success there. I've won the North American Championships in 2022. I got bronze at Commonwealths. Surprisingly got bronze at the World Equip Bench in 2023. I've done a lot in the Canadian Nationals, and currently I'm in training now for the World Masters Powerlifting Championship. That's happening in October. That's why I'm not coming to South Coast Summit. Sorry, folks, I'd love to go, but I'm going to be powerlifting in South Africa that week. So that's where I'll be. So I've done a little bit, but that just didn't happen overnight. It started a little bit earlier than that. For those of you who don't know what powerlifting is, I'll give you a very quick primer. It's not what you see in the Olympics. It's not Olympic weightlifting. That's a slightly different thing. Powerlifting is 3 disciplines. You have your squat, where you put the bar over your shoulders and you have to squat down so your hips are below parallel of your knees, and then back up again. Bench press, which of course all the bros like to talk about, like how much do you bench, bro? And that's where you're on the bench and you push it up. And then the deadlift, where you basically pick a lot of weight off the floor, ideally without hurting yourself. And that's sometimes a little bit of a trick. Sometimes I might say something about classic and equipped. Classic is sort of, you're not really using equipment. And then for the equipped, you could actually have kind of tight suits on and different things that will surprisingly enhance your lift. So it's a whole division. There is a category specifically for bench press only, and that's usually for people that might have really kind of wrecked their knees and things like that, so they can only do bench. There's both men and women divisions in age and weight categories, all the way from, like, say, the youngest I've seen are ages 14 and younger. 14 is kind of the youngest for the divisions, all the way up into people in their 70s. The cool thing is the sport's very inclusive. I would have to say at most of the championships and events that I go to, the split between men and women is getting closer and closer to 50-50, which is really cool to see. There's strong people all across the board. It's very inclusive. It's a great community. I'll talk a little bit more about that. But this is my sport. This is what I like. It's not for everybody, but this is what I got into. And then how did I get into it? So this story goes back about 13 years ago. So those of you can do the math, you can figure that out. When I was turning 40, I found that I was completely out of shape. I could barely go up a flight of stairs without being out of breath. I was easily getting hurt. Like, of course, I live in Canada, cleaning up the driveway. I hurt my back multiple times. And then in Canada, the very first time there's a heavy snowfall, there's always the warnings of people dying of a heart attack. And I did not want to be that person. I didn't want to be another statistic of someone dropping dead in their driveway, that kind of thing. So I realized, okay, I need to get physically fit. I was also very mentally burned out as well. And that's a whole other topic, which for those of you who are at Dynamics Minds, you might have seen my discussion on that. I'll talk a little bit more about, I'm doing another session. I will talk a little about that later. I also had a young child who's not so young anymore, but at the time, I realized I kind of wanted to be around for her, and, kind of chasing a little kid around, for those of you who are parents, takes a lot of energy and time. So I really wanted to be able to be there for her. And then, so basically, I joined the gym like many people do, thinking, okay, let's get in. And I learned very quickly I hated running, I hated the cardio, I hated being on the treadmill. Those things are just not fun, but I loved lifting. I loved lifting the free weights. And so we dove into that, and then eventually got into powerlifting. One of the personal trainers said to me, he said, "Hey, you're lifting a lot. There was a fun meet." And then I joined the association, and eventually got to the point I was competing internationally. All right, so I just want to put a little disclaimer here, because I do hope to be giving a lot of tips and tricks around this, but I'm not a medical professional or a certified personal trainer or any kind of fitness specialist. I'm just sharing you what has worked for me, or things that I've run into. What I do for me doesn't necessarily mean it's for everybody else either. It really depends on you. I'm just here to provide ideas, maybe inspire some people, encourage everyone basically to take control of their health and do what works for them. And if you're going to try out something, you want to dive into something, definitely talk to a health practitioner, your doctor, whoever, really, before starting a fitness, nutrition, or any kind of wellness program, just to make sure that they put the right parameters for you. And I just want to make sure that people stay safe and have fun doing this. All right, so let's kind of hit the nail on the head. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. And I'm not putting any disparaging remarks about that. I've just sort of talked about the situation. This is the type of issues that we, as I would say, IT professionals, people doing coding, people doing consulting, these are the things we run into. Definitely mental health challenges. We talk about musculoskeletal issues with your physical body, and other lifestyle related risks. And we're going to dive into that. And that cartoon picture was pretty much me 13 years ago. So working dark, working in the basement, coding, working long hours, just not really in a happy place. So first off, I really want to talk about mental health challenges. And this is something that I feel that probably, everybody kind of, definitely in the IT industry, this is something that's a lot more prevalent, but not a lot of people talk about. Stress and burnout. We always have deadlines. We need to have projects delivered on time. We need to do these deployments. The deployment doesn't work. There's issues going on. We have this always on work culture. We're constantly carrying around, these devices everywhere we go, and we're, can be contacted anytime. A lot of, with that, I think, leads to a lot of anxiety and depression. We have isolation. We're working alone, even though if we're in a team. It's always, sometimes we have toxic cultures as well. Doesn't always help. And of course, all of these things running through your mind, it's we have these sleep disorders, late night coding, these irregular hours. Our sleep health is kind of all over the map. So that's kind of the first thing that we really, need to address. And of course, the musculoskeletal issues. Who here has back and neck pain? Probably a lot of you, I'm guessing. Maybe you have poor posture because you've been hunched over that laptop or hunched over that keyboard. How good your ergonomics in your home office. Even if they're good, if you're sitting all day, these will affect you. And the repetitive strain injuries, the typing, the mouse use, is actually, my wife next week is going in for carpal tunnel syndrome or carpal tunnel surgery because she's been working on a desk for so long. And then, of course, eye strain, computer visions. Like I wear glasses. I prefer not to, but I think a lot of me staring at a screen kind of exacerbated that a little bit. All right. So lifestyle risks. So we have this sedentary lifestyle. Now, this, of course, leads to obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, poor nutrition, hydration habits. We're probably eating a lot of junk food. We're probably not drinking enough water. We're lacking sunlight. We're working early. We're staying late. We're not getting outside, and we have that vitamin D proficiency. And really, what are we doing it for? Why are we doing this? Is it just to get a paycheck? This is where we're going to end up. This is not where we want to go. We want to be able to do fun things. So this is why these things are, I believe, are so important. So this is something my wife came up. Let's put the F back into IT so we get fit, right? So let's all get fit. All right. First thing, sleep. Let's fix that. So this is the thing. We should all be aiming for 7 to 8 hours of regular sleep. But I know a lot of folks, that's really hard with family and other commitments. Couple tricks to help this, or if you don't sleep well. One thing is to avoid eating 3 to 4 hours before going to sleep. Something that I do is I have a go to bed alarm. I do have an alarm to wake me up in the morning, but I try to go to bed somewhere between 9 and 10. I know that seems really early for some folks, and I know it's hard, especially when your wife wants to binge on Netflix with you for a while. It's like, no, okay, I want to get my sleep because I want to be early. It's good to get good sleep hygiene, of course, keeping the room cool, keeping the room dark. There's a lot of good tips online to find that. If you're having trouble sleeping, or even if your partner says you snore a lot, you kind of lose your breath. This is what happened to me. My wife noticed that. She said, "Hey, Nick, you're stopping to breathe. It's freaking me out." And I'm kind of like, nah, that's fine. She says, "No, you snore and then you stop breathing." I got a sleep study, and basically the doctor, I have severe sleep apnea. And the doctor kind of looked at me, asked me like, how are you still alive? Basically, I had 90 incidents per hour, so that's more than one per minute. So treating that, and that to me made a huge difference. I do have the sleep apnea machine. I absolutely hate it, but it actually gives me a good night's sleep. I also do mouth taping and nasal strips. This is something that works for me. I don't recommend that for everybody, but that is a way that I can force myself to breathe through my nose, and that also provides good sleep. Here are my sleep numbers. It's not the best. I prefer to be 8 hours, but here over the last week, I've been doing 7 hours, 18 minutes on average. You see the different types. I was awake on the weekend, kind of late at night. It's probably for I think I might have had I had a beer or two, which I do on weekends, and that kind of affected my sleep. So it really goes to show how your sleep's affected. But sleep, to me, if you can get your sleep sorted out, that actually will begin to solve a lot of your issues, and that's something that's worked well for me. Um, Now, in terms of movement, I realize people don't have time or they don't have things, but if one thing that you could do, if there's one thing you want to take away from this, I would encourage, if you do anything, walk. Walking's easy. Everybody can do it. We learned it as a baby. Even before we learned how to talk, we were probably walking. A lot of walking leads to weight loss, cardiovascular health. If you're in an office, you see an elevator, it's only 2 flights, take the stairs. You're at an airport, like here's a travel hack. The escalator, if you need to get to your next flight, take the stairs. Guaranteed you're going to beat everybody on the escalator because everybody's there with their carry-on and whatnot. If you take the bus or train into work or to the office or to see clients, get off a stop earlier. Walk that extra few blocks. It's only going to cost you a few minutes, but your long-term health will depend on it. For me, I usually do a walk first thing in the morning. So I alternate between going to the gym and going for a walk. So if I do that early morning walk, it's good because that's when the sun is at the optimal to create vitamin D. So you need the sun to create vitamin D. The sun also is good for other health benefits. If you go like at noon, that works too, but then you have a lot more of the ultraviolet light, which gives you the sunburns and everything. Where in the morning it's more of the infrared. I might have that backwards, but anyways, the good the good radiation is in the morning that produces vitamin D. And then the other way for walking for me, multitask. Like it's a great way to catch up on podcasts, like the Power Platform Boost podcast. You can go for a walk, or even audiobooks, or even if you get it to read your emails and texts and things like that. These are things you're going to do anyway. Going for a walk and having that go as an audio version into your ears is a kind of great way to do some of that multitasking. All right. Now, here's the other thing. I like powerlifting, but try to find an activity that you like because I realize lifting weights is not for everybody. I hate running, but I know some of you are runners and you absolutely love it, and that's great. And this is the cool thing. We live in a world you can try different things. So go try running or try joining a sport. Ask ChatGPT or Copilot for ideas. Say, hey, I'm feeling out of shape. I want to work on an activity. Here's what I like. Here's what I don't like. Give me some options. And ChatGPT might actually ask you some questions and give you some options there. In your city or where you live, chances are there is some sort of sport or activity that you can get involved with. You could sign up, and there's a lot of different sports. So, you could sign up for a marathon, a charity run, or something like that. If you sign up for something, this gives you a goal to work towards and kind of forces you. It's kind of a hack to make you train because you've set that goal for yourself, and be public about it. Say, hey, I signed up for this marathon in March. Who's joining me? Or, just basically, if you tell people, then it's also going to force you to go and do it. And there's a lot of different things. If it's running, like I said, powerlifting. Here's a picture of my coach. He's into something called High Rocks. I'm not sure if you've heard of high rocks. This sport is absolutely crazy. I went to watch where you do some sort of exercise like, rope pulling or you sled pushing, and then you run for a kilometer, and then you do some other exercise. It's absolutely nuts, but him and his wife do it. They absolutely love it. But yeah, tons of different things you can do here. And like I said, if you're public about it, it's going to kind of force you to to do it. And that's what I do. I basically say yes. I've I'm signed up for 2 more events coming up in my future, so that's something that's forcing me to train for it. And then of course joining community. So we all know what the Power Platform community is like. It's great, very encouraging. I've been finding in sports and health and powerlifting especially, there is a great community around that too. And then of course all of these different sports have great communities, and it's a great way to be encouraged, meet new friends. There's a lot of clubs, classes, different workout groups. So if you join these things, this is another way to get motivated in order for yourself to get healthy, and also to meet people outside of the IT industry as well. There's a lot of interesting people out there that are doing interesting things. So this is a good way to kind of meet those people. And I find like a good gym for me. I go to the gym. I'm saying hi to a lot of people. I see, basically my gym buddies all the time. It's a great community. It's a great place to kind of meet some sort of like-minded people in terms of your health and fitness as well. So that's another tip that I would have. Another thing I do realize is sometimes is a cost for people, but I do highly recommend getting a coach or personal trainer. Here's my coach. His name's Chris Fudge. He's been my coach now for 7 years at least. He helps me prepare for the powerlifting meets. He prepares the workout plans every Sunday night. I get a new plan. I know that's for the week. I know what I need to do. I send him videos back of my different lifts, so he gives me pointers on that and different how to fix my form. Every so often, we will do a one-on-one session where he will evaluate me. So the cool thing is a lot of these coaches can be online as well. There's also an accountability partner. So if you actually have an appointment with a personal trainer, you have to show up. You pay anyway. So it's good that you show up. You learn a lot about yourself working with the coach, and they really are there to help you get better. And the thing is, if you get a coach and you're not comfortable, go get another one. I know that he's coached a lot of different people over the years, and some people don't always click, and sometimes they do. And then of course, other times you work with other coaches. It's like, yeah, we don't quite click. So again, it's not like a doctor where they're hard to find. There's a lot of personal trainers, a lot of online coaches, so you can actually pick and find the one that works best for you. This is another motivation trick that I do. I go to the gym every second day, but I like to call this park downhill. I always prepare my gym bag the night before. So if I know I'm going to the gym in the morning, my bag is by the door. It's fully packed. It's got my shoes and all my equipment all ready to go. It's got my water bottles and all that ready to go. I have breakfast, coffee. It's all queued up, ready to go. There's a picture of my Keurig. It is a recyclable pod, by the way, or one of those biodegradable ones. Coffee is ready to go. So basically, I come downstairs, I turn on the coffee maker, it's ready to go. Everything's there. I also have a workout plan, so don't go in the gym kind of with no plan either. So then this is what my coach Chris provides me. He provides to me in Excel. Yes, I do know I should be making a power app for him. I do plan on doing that someday. But still, there's the plan. I go into the gym. I know exactly where I need to do, how many reps, how many set, what the weight is. And then from that, I provide feedback. So it's good to go in with a plan. And then that way, you're not kind of wandering around. I see a lot of people go to the gym. They're kind of wandering out. Okay, should I use this machine? They hop on a machine. They try it. By knowing what you need to do, what the weight's set at, what the reps are, then you can track that. You should take a journal of this, and then you know where you're at and if you're making progress or there's some issues with that. So nutrition is also a big one. I realize I am a big guy. I do eat like a powerlifter, so I might not be exactly the picture of slimness or fitness, but I do what works for me. One thing that I do is with my family is we prepare a weekly meal plan. So you'll see here, I have a picture on my fridge. It's it's on a dry erase board, but we write down every night roughly what we're going to make for dinner. So I know what to take out of the freezer. So it's kind of ready to go. for us to prepare that meal. So we always have that. We're not always kind of wondering, and sometimes like, oh, what do you make? I don't know. Do we have anything? No, I don't feel like it. Oh, let's just order pizza or let's order Uber Eats. By having that plan and having that ready, it actually, we find that we eat at home a lot more. And if we're eating at home, chances are we're eating a lot more healthier. Make sure you have those healthy options in the house when you do your grocery shopping. Make sure you have like fresh fruits, vegetables. Field berries are really good. Blueberries are amazing for you. A good rule of thumb is eat the rainbow, meaning eat a bunch of different colors. You might have heard of this. So a lot of oranges and reds and dark greens. You eat the rainbow. It's very healthy. Another thing is always carry a water bottle. I have mine right here. You probably, if you've seen me at conferences or whatever, you have seen me carrying my water bottle with me. I always have it with me, always stay hydrated. And again, this is something, don't take my diet because it's it's very protein heavy. Work with your coach or nutrition expert to know what works for you based on your conditions where you're at. And again, this can be a very personal thing. All right, I've heard this, and some of you are saying the same thing. I don't have the time. I don't have the time to work out. Oh, I wish I had more time. I realize that we live busy lives. We have jobs with a lot of things. We have big to-do lists. Somehow AI is not taking our jobs away. AI is making us more busier. But what I do is I get up early. I don't necessarily get up at 5 a.m. I usually get up around 6, but there is that concept called the 5 a.m. club. I know some folks getting up early is really, really hard. That's why you go to bed early. But the morning's great because chances are none of your colleagues are woken up yet. So they're not emailing you, they're not texting you yet. They're all in bed. So let them sleep and then you go do your thing. But again, you need to find an ideal time that works for you. I know some people, they have much more energy. They want to go after work. They want to get rid of all that mental energy by working out. I'm more of a morning person. Do what works best for you. Schedule around your energy. And this is a big one. Book your exercise time like you would any other meeting. If you have a 2-hour meeting with your boss, are you going to tell your boss, nah, sorry, I don't have time to talk to you because I'm busy with other things? Like some of you might, but what I do, it's in my calendar. It's blocked off. It's like any other meeting that I have with a client or a meeting with any other colleagues I'm working with, or anything else. This is my time. This is for my gym time. It's scheduled in there. Include your family members. If they want to kind of work out with you, this is a great way for family bonding, or your friends. I always like to say, if you got time for Netflix, you got time to work out. And if you do need to catch up on Netflix, I see a lot of people in the gym. They're watching Netflix when they're on the treadmill, or when they're doing stuff. They'll have actually Netflix up and running on their devices. So you do have time to do, like I said, if you have time for Netflix, you have time to work out. And again, great time to catch up on podcasts, audiobooks, great time to listen to the Power Platform Boost podcast while you're working out. So, again, if you don't have time, take a look. I think you might find the time. So I know I kind of whizzed through a lot of stuff on here, but the summary is these are things that's worked for me. In the past, 10 years or so, I've gotten to be a lot more energetic. I was able to, with that extra energy, do a lot more things. For instance, that's when I became an MVP. I was able to, get involved in that, plus a lot of things with work. It's, not perfect. There are days, I kind of slide back as well, like everybody else. There are days that I don't want to go to the gym. But having some of these tips and tricks in place have helped me be able to move forward with that. So definitely, I highly encourage anybody. I've hopefully inspired you a little bit, giving you some ideas. If you have questions, we'll take some questions after. If you are going to, now we talked earlier with Sarah and a few others about speaking, about, I think Johannes said too, he was interested in getting speaking. It is a slippery slope, folks. Once you get into it, then you start committing to a lot of things. I didn't realize how many things I got going up in this fall, and even I've covered up a lot of them. I'm speaking at Collab Days, Baltic Summit, Nordic Summit, Experts Live in Vegas as well, in Ottawa, the M365 Ottawa. I'm also going to the World Masters in October as well. So again, if you want to get into speaking, it's great. And once you get started, you can't stop. But if you do see me at any of these events, I will have a bunch of these Power Platform Boost ducks to hand out. So come see me, say hello, get a duck. It's pretty interesting. I'm not sure, I haven't really seen it's too public, but it's on the website. I will be giving the closing keynote at Nordic Summit, which I'm pretty excited about. And I'm going to be talking a lot more kind of on this topic, but a lot more about burnout in IT professions as well, kind of my experiences there. So if you're going to be at Nordic Summit, hopefully I'll see you there as well. That one's going to be kind of tough one. But yeah, I guess I'll turn it back to Keith if anybody has any questions about this.
Thank you so much, Nick. That was absolutely amazing. I did mention Nick was one of the best, and I think he's just proved it again. So thank you very, very much. If anyone's got any questions, just feel free to raise their hand and we'll go around.
Less of a question from me, but more just the point. I'm in that position now where I've always been into fitness one way or another, but I've actually been rubbish lately. I just need to get out the door and show up. So thank you for the inspiration.
Yeah, showing up's the hardest part. And so that's like, seriously, this is why I got my bags packed in the morning. I had the coffee ready. I always like to tell people like, oh, you're here early at the gym. I said, yeah, because I haven't had a chance to wake up yet because I had everything ready to go. By the time my brain has woken up telling me, well, you should be doing this instead, or what about this instead? It's like, oh, it's too late. I'm already at the gym. So while I'm here, I might as well work out.
You've gamed your own brain to just get you a bit like Sarah mentioned earlier. Like, I didn't have time to overthink it. I'm just there now. I'm doing it.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm reading a book at the moment, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he mentions that if you go to the gym, just showing up is the biggest thing. Worry about it when you get there, because as you say, once you're there, you've committed. You're there, like, well, what do I do now? And then you'll start to love it when you're there.
Yep, absolutely.
Great. Any questions for
I
Nick?
used to show up at the office in my gym clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Sarah. I think you've gone on mute there.
Yeah, sorry, my signal's not great, so I didn't know if you could hear me. Yeah, I used to go in. There's a few people talking in the chat about going to the gym at lunchtime. I used to go in the morning in my gym stuff, so that I looked like a bit of an idiot if I didn't. It was kind of holding myself to account. It worked.
Yeah, 100%.
I have like one or two coworkers that I'm joining gym with for every lunch, and that's a great trick for me to actually have it done, because if I don't show up, they will be very angry with me. So get yourself a partner and go to the gym.
Yeah, accountability partners are very, very important.
That's the trick.
100%.
Great tip. Yeah, I love that. Awesome. Any other questions? Otherwise, I think we might be done. Okay, Nick, you're off the hook. Thank you so much.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and if you did want to get a copy of this particular thing, again, Keith will set something up. But if you go to my website, nickdoelman.com, you go under the See Me Speak, under the past events, there will be a download link for the session materials here. So you can go there, or like I said, Keith, I'll send you a PDF as well, so you'll have it as part of the Power Platform Community High Five.
That's awesome. Thanks, Nick. Yeah, even the link to that looks amazing, actually. That's perfect.
Cool.
Okay, thank you very much. Right, I'll grab the screen back for a moment.